Let's get right into it. We're going to unpack a really clear biological reason for why we sometimes feel so emotionally overwhelmed. And just to be clear, this isn't about character or willpower. It's about the predictable mechanics of your nervous system when it's been under chronic demand.
You know that feeling, right? Some small, everyday thing happens, and it just sets off this huge internal reaction. It feels disproportionate, maybe even a little chaotic. And you find yourself wondering, why am I reacting so intensely when everyone else seems fine?
Well, here's the most important thing to get right away. That feeling of being overly reactive, it is not a personal failing. It's actually a pretty logical adaptive response from a system that has just been working way overtime. Let's take a look at how that system actually operates.
Okay, so let's get into the biology of this. We're going to look at the mechanism that's been recalibrating your internal state, especially when it's dealing with persistent stress. So, think about your brain's default setting like a house with a thermostat set to a really comfortable temperature. That's homeostasis. It's a system that's built to keep everything in a stable, optimal balance. But what happens when you face a chronic stressor? Well, that's like dragging a bonfire into the middle of your living room. The air conditioner, your homeostatic system, kicks on, of course, but it's completely outmatched. There's just no way it can get the temperature back to its old default setting. So, to survive the bonfire, your brain makes a really strategic decision. It shifts into a process called allostasis, which literally means achieving stability through change. Instead of constantly fighting to get back to that old baseline, it creates a new, elevated one. It basically says, okay, this higher temperature is the new normal. It's an incredibly intelligent, adaptive process designed to maintain function when the demand is high. And this isn't just some abstract idea. There's actual hardware involved. What you're looking at here is the brain's core stress circuit. When this circuit is under chronic demand, it just stays active, constantly pumping out stress factors. And that's what fuels this new elevated baseline of allostasis. It's predictable machinery. But this incredible adaptation does have a cost. That feeling of being worn out, exhausted, constantly on edge, that has a name. It's called the allostatic load. It's the cumulative wear and tear on your brain and body from having to maintain this heightened state of readiness. It's a very real biological toll. So, given this biological reality, what do you actually do with this system, especially in a moment when you're feeling that high arousal? Well, this understanding points to two very clear, very doable directives. First up, strategic avoidance. Now, this isn't about weakness. It's about respecting the actual mechanics of your brain. Intentionally staying away from things you know will trigger that sensitized stress circuit is a legitimate, intelligent strategy. Second, detach and label. When that wave of intense feeling hits, the goal is to just pause. Instead of getting swept away by it, you simply name what's happening internally. Something like, I'm experiencing a signal from a sensitized stress circuit. And this quote right here, it gets to the heart of that second directive perfectly. The intense feeling is a symptom of your system's allostatic state. It's information. It is not a command to act. Just recognizing that, well, it creates just enough space, just enough of a gap for your prefrontal cortex, your brain's braking system, to get back online and regain a little bit of traction. And all of this brings us to a fundamentally new way of relating to your internal world. It's one based on understanding the logic of why your body is doing exactly what it's doing. The key takeaway here, really, is that this response system is not your enemy. It's not malfunctioning. It is a profoundly protective mechanism that has done a brilliant job of adapting to the environment it's been in. It has learned to anticipate threats and demands, all in an effort to keep you safe. And when you really start to understand its logic, you can stop fighting it. This knowledge opens the door to a relationship with yourself that's based on awareness and on trust in your own biology, rather than a constant, exhausting struggle for control. Your system knows how to find its way.